That did not sound good.
Greetings, Life Simulators! Thank you for clicking on the video. Happy you stopped by for this quick look at a game for capturing the beautiful landscape of Eastshade as a painter who is adventuring for inspiration. This title is an indie one by Eastshade Studios of all things. Their other listed game is Leaving Lyndow, which takes place within the same world that we're about to encounter. We start our little virtual life on a boat with a few other patrons. Characters in this game are modeled after different creatures given human features and characteristics. Like the majority of games, we will be entertaining plenty of NPC requests throughout the adventure, but it's the story in any of this that counts. Hours evolves into a sudden jolt and a shudder of the ship and everything goes dark. And then who knows how much time has passed before we wake up in a dimly lit cave with the friendly folk of the area. They've managed to salvage our easel, thankfully, as we are painters, so this is amongst our most prized possessions. Given directions towards the nearby town, we take off on foot through Eastshade's amazingly gorgeous environment. There's so much to see and tour around this tiny little settlement on the seaside. And I can already see tons of things that I want to paint.
Hey, you have an easel! Are you an artist?
It's a good idea to start familiarizing yourself with the townspeople as they begin compiling the chains of stories that are starting off the plot. We're introduced to our painting mechanics with an adorable quest from a very cute resident. They're inspired to be an artist and don't mind helping us figure out how to get the materials to craft a canvas. And if we are so inclined, we can choose to share a crafted canvas with them so that they may make a work of art. In the process, it gives us the recipe to make one on command, as long as we have the wood and the cloth in inventory. Gathering becomes a significant part of the game as woods are scattered with items that you can highlight and grab for your bag, from flowers to sticks and feathers. Scouting in and around buildings, you might find some more materials for canvases or books to read for tips that will help you throughout the game or offer more to the development. The currency in this world is glowstones. They can be obtained by doing errands, trading items, or selling your paintings, and they'll be necessary for one of the first primary objectives, which is the toll bridge to the larger city. In the meantime, Lyndow acts as your tutorial segment on how the game plays overall. And while most items across the forest floors will respawn, the wood and cloth found lying around does not. Not to worry though. There will be a way to obtain more canvas from a vendor in Nava. It's fairly simple and intuitive in how it plays, and it's mostly just a ton of running around. Not that it's really a problem, because there's stuff to gather that respawns every few in-game days. There's already a couple of curious lines in this story that are starting to take off. Very early on, you've got Lyndow locals gossiping at you about others, but perhaps there's a legitimate reason to be concerned if you keep poking at the plot. I managed to get myself knocked out that way. And this game isn't exactly violent, so it seems that there's going to be a lot of explaining along this tale that's playing out. The game's pretty ideal for those who want the ultimate chill game with no combat. Can't possibly die, but just endlessly explore. The only thing to mine is the sun setting, as when it starts to get cold, you'll have to run for shelter or build a tent. We're not exactly able to sustain the overnight temperatures. Upon reaching Nava, there's a vendor in the main market selling their clothing. You can buy a coat from her that will allow you to bypass being sent back to your room at the inn. Besides the tent, which comes by way of crafting through a recipe quest reward, there are several tavern-like inns where one can purchase accommodations for the evening. The only player survival metric is inspiration, which fills up in a circle meter that appears in the bottom corner of the screen periodically when collecting this resource. Finding new landmarks, relaxing in a hot spring, and drinking tea are all ways to gain the inspiration that you'll need to paint. It shouldn't be too hard to keep that meter up, as long as we're running around to discover new places. But if in need of some tea for sipping, the innkeeper in Lyndow can help you with that for a small fee of glowstones as you're getting started.
Take care now.
When beginning, we don't have a map, but get it later on through a quest from the cartographer located along the path to the larger city of Nava. Until then, we just have some landmarks in the area, like the ruins of old Lyndow washed away by the floods, or this so-called haunted tower along the cliffside. There are NPCs which will provide transportation between the coastal port of Lyndow and Nava, but the first time around we will have to do it on foot, and that allows for the exploration time to trip across a few new and important quest chains that include one to obtain the map. Also along the way will be many helpful materials, some of which we have not seen yet. In order to gain entrance to the more metropolitan territory of Nava, the guard at the opening demands that we obtain 3 reference letters from citizens. By now you may have already been getting plenty of the NPC chores done, and you'll know just who to revisit. The Lyndow innkeeper Nika will provide you with one, as will Onyar, who lives across the toll bridge after you've also made friends with his companion Bojan. Just shortly down the road is a small home with a lovely bird enthusiast who commissioned you for a painting of an owl. She will provide you a letter by request after you've given her your final work. The park ranger is happy to oblige if you can assist with the water fox hassle. You may also consider revisiting the cartographer. Any mix of the 3 will get you passage to the next exciting area of the game. It is, quite possibly, one of the most beautiful games I've ever played as far as the environment factor. It's been described as Skyrim without the combat. The game's characters are charming enough, although there wasn't a ton of development early on. It did get a little dry up until starting the chain through quests for Nava for me. At that point, I finally found a character to be a little connected to. The skeptical scientist located atop the university. How progressive this gorgeous, quaint little metropolis is. She's running tests on everything and sharing the reports with us on a mystery substance that will have us hunting all over the map and giving us plenty of time and opportunities to be inspired to paint. This is good, because while browsing the market goods available, you'll quickly come across the art gallery's concierge. We're in luck. They're looking for an artist to fulfill commissions, and this can become one of your better income sources for glowstones by attempting to capture the specific requests given in a log behind the vendor NPC, who also has canvas for you to purchase. You can go wild. You're not limited to the canvas materials that are collectible around town by frequently reinvesting in canvas stocks here. The only thing that you'll have to mind now is that inspiration meter. Eastshade Studios made getting lost in the woods a very pleasant experience. Life around here seems to be idealistic for vacation or even an extended stay, in my opinion. Sitting down with a good book, cup of tea for inspiration, doing a little painting while side researching cults. Yep, you heard that last part right. This game, so oddly, is starting to pique my interest across so many subject matters, but it didn't start getting entertaining until the city streets and the inhabitants of this rather advanced civilization.
Did you pick up a paper?
This world is one after my own heart. Support local journalism with my glowstones? Yes, sir, absolutely.
Would you like to donate a glowstone to the Shady Post so we can keep the paper free without ads?
There's lots to see and do around this place, but a vendor you might find useful is the Gruff Bear located in a more remote corner that will sell anything for a glowstone. He also has one other thing that you need, but that's for another time. Talk to as many folks as you can to find with the speech bubble above them. There's many objectives to pick up here in addition to the goods that one can buy. And also look around, as the quests seem to be triggered by posters on the wall. Unexpectedly, the game got a bit more to scratch off from the surface than the shorter review that I originally had in mind, so I'll keep you updated in future videos about some of the more options of activities it looks like we'll get from the vendor upgrades. From what I have discovered so far, at least tea making and fishing seem likely, since there have been books or papers laying around about the zone already educating us on these two topics. Overall, it's a fairly good game, bordering on really good, and since I'm probably only a fraction of the way through it, I'll reserve an opinion change for the future. 10 of 10 on the mesmerizing beauty of the virtual world. Several hours in, and occasionally I'm still spacing off, gawking at the landscapes and thinking that I'll come back to the spot to paint it for enjoyment once I finish the other commissions the NPCs have for me to complete in the story. Mechanics of the game aren't too difficult, but the point isn't always immediately obvious, and it acts a little like the old game of Myst. There are puzzles periodically, and I can't tell if they tie to the story or not. It's no real cohesive story just yet, and that's kind of what's making it a little disappointing, but I'm hanging in there. Sometimes designers put the pieces together later, or I'm just the one who's slow to pick up on it. The music and the background sounds for atmosphere are fantastic. It adds to the relaxation of running about the game, and some of the voice acting is downright adorable. The conveyance of emotion through some characters promotes more empathy for some than others, making it a little easier to be interested in their errand. You even get to help a budding romance between two Twitter-pated bears. The way the plot unfolds allows players some choices in how you might skew or triangulate characters' outcomes. If you're looking for something that has gathering and crafting, but a little more focused on exploration, then this might be a good option for you. I'm gonna go ahead and play it out, and enjoy this scenery. Take care all, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye!
Criminy! You shouldn't barge in on someone like that. How much did you hear? Don't know if I can trust you.